Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. They clean up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Yo, what's up? How you doing today?
I'm great, buddy. Just chilling.
Tired? I'm tired.
It's been it's an action-packed day. I ain't gonna lie to you there. It has definitely been action-packed, but I'm stoked for our guest today. So I think it's waking me up. It's waking me back up.
Oh, I had your favorite to get me started. I had the fourth meal tonight, so it's your favorite taco spot in LA.
The cheapest. When I saw a meme that said, "What's the cheapest gas you could still get?" is from Taco Bell for $1.67.
There you go. All right, we're gonna jump right into this. We just want to say thank you guys that have been listening and giving us feedback and commenting and sharing and all that good stuff. If you are listening, we ask that you rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts, and if you're watching on YouTube, that you please subscribe and like the videos and leave us some love in the comments if you don't mind. And we're gonna jump right in today to today's guest. Our guest is one of the most seasoned travel DJs in the country. He's held residencies in almost every North American market, as well as markets across Asia and South America. He's a resident DJ with several popular FM and Sirius XM radio shows. He has his own radio show on Pitbull's radio. He's earned the title of World DJ Champion by the ITF, the International Turntable Federation. He's also won several DJ competition titles and events such as the DMC. He's been featured in movies like Iron Man 2 and has had television appearances on Fox, WGN, MTV, and Revolt TV. He's done private events for Prince, Jay-Z, Janet Jackson, as well as brands like Adidas, Belvedere, Disney, Guess, Rockstar, Marvel, Stoli, Universal Studios, and the Olympics, just to name a few. He is one half of the production duo Made Monster. Please help us welcome DJ Spryte.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, good to see you guys.
Hey,
thank you.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Dude, just chilling, man. Excited to be on the show. I was for everyone watching. I got to see them do their intro without me being involved, and I was watching the intro. I love it. I love the intro you guys made.
Thanks. Phrase made that, so that's
really
him singing and everything. Yeah.
Really, that was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Sing it and everything, just from scratch. So it was impressive. So both of us have known you for like 10 years, and we both came up kind of opening up for you, which is kind of crazy to think it's been that long, right?
It's been a long time, man. I've been DJing for a long time, but yeah, no, it's probably been about 10 years since from coming to Cincinnati and then Orange County shows, LA shows. Are you still in Cincinnati, by the way, Fuse?
Yeah, I'm here. You were one of the few guys that would come back to Pavilion like multiple times a year. They went through the phases of like booking, but you were always one of the top ones that we would reach out for, which was awesome. And it was always good getting to hang and getting to open. RIP Pavilion. I don't know if you know that. They closed down.
No, I did not know that. Okay. I was going to say, I'll have to reach out to Danny and see where everyone went.
Yeah, so Pavilion is no more, but I actually don't even play for the same company anymore. I actually am doing stuff for another friend in town who's a DJ, and he opened a couple spots, and so I play for him now. So that's kind of where I'm, which is it's great. It's been great. Me and Drew were also talking about the Bezo days with hosted mixes on there, and how you were crushing those Bezo the Bezo mixes with the stay mixes and all of that. And we were always...
back in the days you were releasing the stay mixes. I guess it was every other month, right? Or was it every month?
Yeah, because it was originally stay was 6 times a year is what it was, and then it eventually became like 1 time a year. But with the Bezo, I was doing just a monthly mix of, that was when it was real big with like the blog house and all that was huge, and like the Electro Clash show. There was so much of this great new music coming out from the blogs. Every week I would just gather maybe 30 tracks, make it a little mix just to kind of just flush that out and get some new music out there. But yeah, no, Stay was 6 times a year originally.
And I remember you were always such a huge influence for me because I'd listen to these mixes and I'm thinking, man, this guy fucking digs. You were coming up with stuff like right when it had dropped and putting out a mix, and it was sounding so fresh, and you would do super clean cuts over it. And I guess that's what's kind of progressed nowadays into your new Pitbull show.
Same exact idea. It's just called It's Stay Radio, based off those original mixes, but same concept. I do about half the show, about 25 minutes, and there's always a guest who's like 30, 35 minutes. Fuse has been on the show. And then the first 25, I just find all the new stuff that I'm feeling. It's mostly like dance, up-tempo remixes, but same concept, find brand new stuff and just push it out every week, so it's always fresh.
And you were honestly, those mixes were always so fresh and so cutting edge. And I would go back and listen to them like a month or 2 months later, and it was like a lot of shit people would already start playing by then. So you were so ahead of the curve on a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I just always like that. I mean, when I dig through music, I try to just find what I like, what I enjoy. If it gets big or not, whatever. It's just, I like this, I enjoy it. I'm going to put it out there. If it sticks, it sticks. Some of them do, some of them don't. But I just big fan of music. It's the whole reason why I'm in this. So I just love music.
Have you been working a lot back in person gigs now? Like, have you been taking a lot of gigs since the world is now seemed to be, back in the full thing of swing? Man, I cannot talk tonight at all. Now that the world's back in the full swing of things, have you been taking a lot of gigs?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been decent. I mean, it's slowly ramping up. I'm probably like 2 to 3 times a month on the road again, and then local stuff around here like LA, San Diego, Riverside. But it's definitely been ramping up. But other than that, just a lot of production stuff. But the gigs have definitely been ramping up.
I just grabbed what you put out today, that Drop It Low remix you put on DJ City.
Yeah. That was I was just trying to take a stab at I do a remix a month for them, like an original one. So like every month I just try to do something inspired. Like I think last month I was trying to do like a Dom Dollar style. This is obviously like in a craze style thing, but yeah, that was my stab at the do it to it kind of thing going on right now.
It's a dope track. I mean, it's going to mix perfect in that set and keep that open format crowds going once you go up tempo, which I feel is kind of coming back a little bit.
No, I completely agree, because for a while, especially like right before the pandemic hit, like I've always been kind of the up tempo open format guy, was always my thing. And then everything for a minute moved completely to almost all hip hop sets. So which is fine, but I really missed, that energy, just even those little blocks. But now I'm going back up tempo 4 or 5 times, maybe 6 times a night for little blocks. And it's great. Just brings the energy, switches up a little bit. And I still play all the hits and pop and hip hop, that everyone's feeling.
And you were great about doing trap remixes just to keep that energy down there with Made Monster and with your own stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. When it was like all, hovering between like 55 and 100 BPMs, I'd break out to like, exactly like Moomba, trap. I mean, Latin stuff got real big, so that was great to kind of break up the hip hop sets. But now, yeah, I'm fully going, with Fisher and all this, kind of moving all the house back in. On a popular note, I've definitely been just dipping back in the house quite a bit in the open format sets.
Do you find you need to still keep? I'm finding a lot of the crowds like the house stuff, but are you finding still mashing it up just to keep it fresh between both sides of the people that still want the hip hop versus that? Or do you see that a lot of people still like the bigger, like for instance the Shouse, I think the other night was one of my biggest songs of the night, just the original. They didn't want the mashup of it. They liked the original.
Agreed. I've probably played, and I used to be very heavy on the personal mashups and remixes. I play way more originals now, and that's for hip hop and for house. Remixes, I mean, like a lot of times I'll play remixes when I'm trying to like refresh a song. There's a lot of like great remixes now of like 90s and 2000s tracks. So like that I will, as long as it's not over like a really big song that I can play the original of. So if it's like Shouse Love Tonight, I would just play the original on that one. And then I'd find some old Missy track that has like just a dope house beat over it and play that mashup. But I still have been skewing way more original, even for hip hop. Mostly original tracks seem to work the best. I mean, from what I've seen.
It's true.
We talk about it all the time, and the original stuff is pretty much what we play. Him and I played with Drew recently out out there, and then he's been in town. Because we're doing this, we're talking all the time, but we're playing a lot of original stuff. I mean, we pretty much edit, and I'm sure you do too, everything that you play in a way that works best for you. It's all pretty much the original still, just a edited version somehow,
Agreed. If I'm on my phone, but if I was sharing my screen in my Serato, everything is my own edit. But you're right, it's of the original, whether I'm adding an acapella in, acapella out, a short version, some little hype, some little transitional element. It's still just the original that it ends up in, that it lands in.
I'm curious. I'm actually redoing my crates, and I think I'm asking this more for a personal reason, but
sure.
How you organize your crates, because I'm in the process of redoing it. I use a lot of smart crates, and we just put out a video on Simo did a thing on smart crates. Do you use smart crates, or what's your thought process on how you're building out your crates for these shows?
No, I've been using the same kind of method forever. It's not smart crates. It's just, I'll usually every week, depending on where I'm going, I still like to kind of organize kind of what I feel like. There's probably about 75% of my stuff I copy over from week to week. And I have like my hip hop go-to folders. I have my peak, up-tempo folders. I have like my end night folders. I have like little transitional mix folders for like bathroom breaks, or say if I'm getting on, I need a little extra time to set up, but it's the same folders I copy over, and every week I'll put it in a new weekend folder, and I'll kind of switch out what I think will work, what won't work. I'll add in new songs I want to try out, but it's just very simply, I could look at right now, I have a hip hop folder, and this is from like last week, a couple weeks ago at Oxford. There's a hip hop folder, a main up tempo folder, a closing folder, transitions folder.
That's the gig in San Diego, right?
Yeah. I threw a cheese folder in here, which is kind of like all your old like Chris Brown, like stuff like that, like Good Feeling, Flow Rider, that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it's just those folders. It's all stuff I know that works. And from week to week, like I said, about 75% of it carried over, and then I'll switch out and add some new stuff I want to try. But the majority of my gigs now, especially in open format world, it's mostly the same music.
Do you throw would you say you have 200 plus in there, or is it fairly, because this is like for a headlining set, right?
Yeah. So most of my sets don't go over 1.5 to 2 hours, to be honest. That's pretty much. So yeah, the folder right here that I'm looking for Oxford is 184 files is in it total without the organization. So I can keep it kind of concise. Obviously my computer here, I've got the 2 terabyte internal. I probably have like 30,000 songs on it, but I just don't want to have to be looking through 30,000 songs at a gig to find out what I'm going to play next. Right. So, and then I keep all my weekends as well, and I label kind of what the weekend's theme was. So if it was more of a house, and I could just reference back to that, because I'm like, oh, well, maybe I prepared more of hip hop crates for this weekend, but all of a sudden, like, man, they're really feeling the house. So I have actually my sets cataloged all the way back to, I think, 2007.
Wow.
Every weekend to 2007. So I was talking to one radio station. They're like, I'll be cool to like a throwback, like 2006, 2007. I'm like, I can play you the exact set I did, or the exact stuff that night that I saved from 2007 or any years.
One thing that I've always wished Serato would actually do is make it to where you could search the crates.
Yeah.
Actually like type in house crate, and it wasn't all of the files. It only searched like just the crates. So
just the crates. Yeah.
Is that Oxford gig? I remember seeing something, somebody posted something like they had in the DJ booth, like no Britney Spears, no Backstreet Boys. Is that still like a thing there, or is that
It's more of like Oxford is more of I had the house crates in there, but they're more of like just a bottle service style club. So they definitely skew more towards like the down tempo. You can go up tempo a little bit, but I mostly keep it in the 100 and below. But I still like to copy over the house crates just in case, especially now, because I've been doing so much more like dance and house music. It's tough. I'll play these like all hip hop rooms, and people will show up like, oh, I love the radio show. And when are you going to start playing like that? And it's like, shit, I can't. It's more of a hip hop room.
That's always tough. You're with Sleeping Giant now, right?
Sleeping Giant out of San Diego. Yep.
How's that been going? Has that been good?
Good. Yeah, no, it's been good. I know I've known Troy for years. He's the guy. He's my agent. He's one of the owners. Him and I think Freddie Fresh. And no, they do great. He would come out to shows for years and was like, dude, when are you gonna come over? When are you gonna make something happen? And I moved over to Sleeping Giant, and he's been my personal agent ever since. And he does a great job.
That's awesome to hear. It seems like a lot of people have been making some moves over there right now. So it's been there's been some hot talk around Sleeping Giant. All I've heard is good things, so it's good to hear from you too as well.
Yeah.
But
I think it was I mean they I thought it was a good fit for me because not only when I came on, they really only had a handful of open format guys. It was like Scooter, I think they had like Shoney and a couple other, like I think Seraphin might be on there. I'm not sure. It was only a handful of open format guys, but they killed it in the house world. I mean, kill it in the house world, especially here in Southern California, Nevada, Arizona, all those areas. So I was like, I really wanted to be kind of part of a label that did both because I'm kind of in both worlds. But now they're really ramping up their open format division. I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these moves and stuff go on to kind of beef up that side. But their house side it's amazing.
And with all your production, that's a great fit.
Exactly. I mean, as I've been getting older, like I've kind of been really digging a lot of those like really chill kind of groovy house kind of just to mix it up kind of gigs, like the rooftop, Miami, house party up on a roof in the middle of the day. Like I've been really digging that. So that's Sleeping Giant.
You had some great mixes, and I used to bug you to send them to me just recently. It was the Love. Now I can't remember the name.
Another alias.
Oh, the Love Hype mixes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we not supposed to say it was an alias?
Well, because I was doing those because I was like, I was so split because, like I said, I was having those problems where I'm doing these open format gigs, and I love everything. I love hip hop, I love pop, I love house, and it's been so difficult. So I was like, maybe I'll give it a shot at like an alias. So many people do it, or it's just like house. And I've done a bunch of gigs under it. I was, working in Vegas, the Park MGM, doing their pool parties as Love Hype. But then just after a while, I was like, screw it. I'm just going to do it all under Spryte and I'll just make it work. It was too hard I'm bad enough already with like the social media and the marketing. I don't want to have to worry about 3 different artists, Made Monster, Love Hype, and Spryte. So now I'm just Spryte. Whatever I play is what I play, I guess.
Well, what's on my phone is I still actually have all those mixes. So that I love them for the plane. They're just great to have on the phone. So
nice.
Anytime I don't have it, I always bust on some Love Hype mixes. Honestly, nice. I love all those mixes.
Perfect. Appreciate it, bud.
So one of the things too we wanted to ask about is your production duo Made Monster and how kind of stuff's going with that. Have you guys been doing a lot of shows recently, or obviously things are just picking back up, but you guys are heavy into the production stuff. So
yeah, no, we're definitely more into like the trap bass, melt your face kind of stuff. Obviously we got the masks and we go crazy, and it's been good. We moved more into like very much into like a video game Comic-Con, almost like that kind of event festival style of things. We've latched on to all these like gaming conventions, like Twitch conventions, anime conventions. We do like crazy. So we've been doing all those. So we have like, we don't play as much, but we probably do like 6 to 8 shows, but like bigger shows at conventions every year. Like we just did the Anime Matsuri, which is like the largest anime convention in North America in Houston not too long ago. But that's kind of our thing. We'll do these big cosplay conventions and stuff like that. But it's been a good fit for us because, like I said, we wear the masks and go hard with the music. So
I love that so much. So you put out the music to these games, or are they made for the games, the songs that you're doing?
Some of them. I mean, we did some stuff that was related to like PUBG and all that. We all of our labels now and stuff like that. We used to hop around all these different labels. We even had stuff on Spinnin'. But we kind of moved completely over into all these like video gaming labels and Twitch labels and stuff like that. So we're really heavily marketing into that area of like, of just audience. But yeah, some of the stuff is for video games. Some of the stuff is for promotion for video games, but it's more just marketing to that audience because it's just a whole different group of people. And all these events have these massive like festival raves attached to them. And a lot of people are getting into it. Like a lot of other large EDM names are starting to come into these like Comic-Con anime festival events.
I believe it. And I'm kind of curious. Do you got your own avatar in these games? Don't some of the big EDM guys have their own avatar? They actually throw concerts, right?
We did a concert inside of Minecraft as Made Monster.
Wow.
Yeah, we did it.
Is that recorded at all?
I do. I believe I do have some recording from it. So they had to play like the mix out, but then like they made us custom avatars and put us on this stage. So we just like jumped around and like chopped with axes and stuff like that. But it was tight. Yeah, it was a Minecraft concert.
Did you like have to put on like what do you call it, the gear and dance?
Yeah.
No,
No,
we made a mix. So it was like the festival in Minecraft. The way they had to do is we all had to make a pre-recorded mix. There wasn't a way to do it live in Minecraft. So they did that, but they made us our own little Minecraft guys, and we logged into the game. So we were like, we're on the stage. They had like a barrier, so we were like only the artists were able to get onto this stage, this virtual stage. We just like jumped around and ran around and stuff like that. And there's all these little people in the crowd were just jumping around and talking with, I don't know, their names over their heads and all that.
That's so tight. I guess I don't play the game, so I don't know anything about it. That's why I was kind of naive to it. But that's cool, man. That's rad. Can you go on any time and like prep a festival and people could show up? Is that something you could keep doing, or does it have to be promoted through like that game company, or how does that work?
I think for those, they had to be promoted as an event. So a game company would set up these like servers, and they'd have someone build like the little festival and stage and stuff. Minecraft is like digital Legos. Kind of, if you're not familiar, you can like build all the stuff with blocks. So they'll have like an artist build the whole like kind of festival setup and all that. And then they'll promote it, and we'll just hop in. Like I said, it's pre-recorded, so we just kind of just run around and do whatever we want.
That's still so fascinating. So
Yeah,
it's like a virtual world, and I'm sure with what Meta and all this stuff that's coming up. I mean, maybe you can capitalize on that even bigger.
Oh, we've been monitoring that big time with like Meta, or just the metaverse, NFTs, all the kind of different possibilities with that technology, especially with what we do. We're 100% looking at that, making sure we're on top of it, and in on the the ground floor when that starts taking off more.
I was gonna say, I remember the last time we talked, you were getting super into the licensing music to video games and stuff. So it's cool to see that that's still like the direction you guys are pushing in with that, and that's been successful. And I think it's even going to be more successful moving forward because of like the meta and NFTs and all that stuff. So.
Oh yeah, no, cool. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a big thing. I've been doing that for a while. Even with Spryte stuff now, anything I don't put out for myself, I sell it to like film and TV music libraries for licensing, and then they just put it in ads or whatever they want to use it for.
Yeah, we recently signed up for Storyblocks. It's something like that where YouTubers can just go and grab basically a Spryte track.
Yeah, something like that. Like because I also, as a day job, I do like TV film editing and production. So I sell to like the companies I already have a relationship with. So like the one I work with right now is called Alibi Music, and they're just like a library, and they're not focused as much on social, but just kind of like TV and movie productions, but same idea. So they're like, whatever, they're making a commercial, they're looking for like an electronic track with whatever feel I give to it. They'll look it up. If they like it, they'll place it, and then I'll get paid, a fee for them placing it. So I get paid quarterly, like royalties or whatever, for placement fees for them.
That's rad.
Yeah.
How did you kind of get into that?
Well, that was just because I do like I do like promo and movie trailer like as a day job when I'm not DJing. So I would use these services. So I already had a relationship with them because I was placing other people's music in trailers and ads that I was doing for my day job. So I already had like a relationship with the music directors at these companies. Mm-hmm. So I was like, hey, I'm also a DJ producer, and I got a whole bunch of beats I don't know what to do with, and check them out. If you like them, place them. And then just placed one, then did an album, then did another album. And now I just do full albums for them.
It seems like that's the best way to make money with the way things are with Spotify and all the streaming shit.
It's great. I mean, it's like the more and more you get on there, it's just set it and forget it. You just, once it's on there, and I'll do a lot of stuff like Christmas EDM albums. So every year around December, I'll get a royalty check from them placing the same in whatever a Macy's ad, some electronic jingle bells that I made.
So can people reuse these over and over and over, like on different commercials, or is it once they buy it, it's set?
With Alibi, it's not like a direct place. You can make a lot more money if you do a direct placement. So if like, whatever Sing 3 comes out and they want to buy your song direct, but it's only for them, that's usually like a one large sum of money for that track, and it's theirs. They have the rights to use it. With Alibi, no, it's on there in perpetuity. It's permanently on there. You can keep using it over and over and over again, people. So there's no exclusivity to it.
It doesn't give them the options to possibly be able to pay more for it?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure if someone was throwing enough money, they would talk to me about doing that. But no, as of right now, it's just on there. Right, I mean, and they could just use it like every Christmas, the album comes back up to the top, like, oh, Christmas favorites, and then they'll get placed again every December.
And I just feel like I'm being naive and I'm
Yeah,
fascinated.
I was
Like
going to say the same.
Lil Nas, I guess, for example, Lil Nas X did what's Old Town Road was his biggest song, right?
Yeah.
And he bought it off something like that, for instance. And so I'm saying if it were to blow up out into the atmosphere, they would, of course, want to buy it up, you know?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure if someone like really, really big one, he's like, oh, this is the perfect song for the next Avengers movie. We don't want anyone else to use it anymore. You know, they'd probably talk to Alibi and just buy it out direct. And they'd talk to me like, hey, listen, they want to buy this for however many, $1,000. Are you down? I'm like, yeah, of course. I'll make more crappy EDM Christmas songs for you, whatever.
Music licensing and sync licensing and placement is like the one thing that I feel like I'm really clueless about. So how it works and all that. And I know, there's so many different avenues when you talk music with people of how they're getting paid and can get paid and producing, and it's so fascinating to hear about what people are doing, and because I know that the licensing and placements of songs like that is very lucrative, and it's a great way for people that are musicians to make a living off of their music without being a hit on, or like a big artist on Spotify that everybody knows or whatever.
Yeah, you could.
So
I mean, some of these sites like Extreme Music, they're a real big one in TV and movie placement. And you'll go on there and you'll see all these artists like full albums that you never heard from, like Exhibit and like Snoop Dogg and all these different artists, big bands, and like you'll just see like a whole Real Big Fish album on there that you never even heard, but it's all for placement. And then in these sites, they're great. You can, they give like the stems to everything too. So it's just a lot of people are getting into it. I mean, all the way up the chain. It's just a great way to making extra money in royalties besides your check from ASCAP, BMI, or Sound Exchange if you're playing your songs on the radio. It's just a great passive income maker for producers.
Real Big Fish, side note, was one of the first bands I ever saw live when I was like 14.
I used to love ska music.
I love it too. Real quick, we want to ask you some of these rapid fire questions, but we're changing the name from rapid fire to not so rapid fire because every time we ask them, it ends up not being so rapid fire.
Not so rapid. Well, it's tough when it's stuff like like favorite song. It's so difficult to answer some of that. Like when you sent me some of the stuff like to go over, I made kind of like a little bit of a list. But again, it's not so rapid fire. Like you were like top 5. I think I wrote down like 30 songs or something like that. So
this is one of our cheesy, not so serious theme videos for one of our segments. So here we go. You're going to love this being a video guy. Ready?
Nice.
Probably going to be the most amazing thing you've ever seen. Here we go.
It's now time for rapid fire.
There you go, man. You got to have the production value.
That's Drew's cheesy game show announcer voice.
There you go.
That Storyblocks has an on web editor that you could do. I did all of that inside the web. I didn't actually use anything. Yeah, it was pretty
stuff like that is perfect. Like if you ever watch like Twitch, the people that are doing kind of stuff like that, just adding the production value, do so much better. So I totally get it. No, it's great.
All right. The last thing that you listen to on Spotify or Apple Music, whichever platform you use.
God, I think it was my own track. That's how terrible that sounds. I don't really use Spotify. I only go there I only went there to see if my song was up. So it was my track Jumping.
All right, there we go.
Hey, Fire Track, if you haven't downloaded that, by the way, grab it on DJ City only? Is that where it's at?
No, that's officially out. That was on the record label, so that's everywhere. You can go to Spotify, Apple Music, Google. That's wherever music is sold, you can get that track.
Dope track.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you this is kind of a side question we always ask of this question. Do you actually listen to music in your personal time, or
I do. I listen to like a lot of either chill house or indie stuff. So like is it Simo or Simo? Like he puts all the blue tracks on DMS. Yeah. The indie tracks, right?
Yeah.
I love those. Absolutely love those.
He has like a little mix series too, which is up there with all your mix series. Is the Indecent, and so it's Indecent, like,
Oh, okay.
and
I'll have to
it's
check that out.
all of the edits that he does, and it's dope.
I think he has them all on Mixcloud, and in the or maybe in the comments or the description, he even put a Dropbox link for every single one too, where you can download them. So
Oh, that's awesome.
they're
Yeah, no, I just something different because I'm always going through the same pop music. I mean, even though I enjoy a lot of the music that I'm playing, it's hard to sit in the car and listen to like Do It To It or, something like that.
Totally.
yeah, totally. So when you're not DJing, what's one of your favorite things to do while, not DJing or doing anything music related?
I don't know. I listen to like a lot of like financial podcasts. I know that's super boring, but I have been playing this game. I got a PS5 and I've been playing this game Elden Ring. I don't know, for all you gamers out there. Pretty
Is that
fun.
like, what kind of game is it? Is it like a RPG or
It's like an
shooter?
RPG. Yeah, it's like an RPG. It's from this company that makes these like crazy hard action RPG games, and I just die all the time, but I just enjoy playing it.
Do you get inspiration for songs by playing some of these games?
Sometimes, especially for the placement stuff, I love listening to how it's edited and curated, and just a lot of that kind of cinematic stuff. Like in my production side, I have all my electronic sounds, but then I also have drives of just orchestral cinematic stuff for more of the placement stuff. So I definitely pay attention to the music on games and stuff when I play them, for sure.
Before you skip over the financial podcast, which you just barely mentioned, maybe you could throw one out for the listeners, because we do have some people that are into that kind of stuff. Maybe one that you recommend.
I watch this guy all the time. He's like a YouTuber dude called Kevin Pathrath, Meet Kevin, and he just goes over the market, crypto, just different types of things. What's going on with the Fed. I guess in my old age, I just sit there and just listen to what's going on with like policy, financial policy, and stuff like that.
I'm gonna subscribe to him right now. It's what is it?
It's Meet Kevin. Meet Kevin Pathrath. It's straight up just whatever, breaks down the news, financial news of the day, how the markets are doing, that kind of stuff. Gotten into like investing and stuff in my old age.
Shout out Meet Kevin.
I think it's good. I feel like the older I've gotten, the more I'm paying attention to like stuff like that too. I just think that it's even more important. Like, I just feel like with what happened with the last 2 years of like, not being able to work, it's like saving money is now so much more important to me than it was, 3 years ago. I was like, oh, we'll always be working. I'm probably going to be one of those guys who's working my whole life until the day that I die anyway. So who cares? But now I'm like, no, I really want to be saving money, and
or realizing
you never
how
know.
much you're pissing off for no reason, right?
Yeah,
agreed.
Like
I've blown so much money. I've blown so much of my money, like when I was like traveling real heavily, just so much on just nonsense. And like now it's like, I need to make that money work for me, because I'm not going to be doing this forever. I'll be doing the production stuff forever, because I can be 60 years old here working on music behind the scenes. But when you're on the stage, they ain't trying to see a 60-year-old dude.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see. Maybe you're still hip. I don't know. I don't know that some of them are going to be able to do what you could do down the road. I hope that it continues, but it is still a talent. It is, I think, still going to be wanted. It's like some of the old bands, right? People still want to go see them. They're still selling out. Guns N' Roses did one of the biggest selling concerts of 2019 or 2018.
Really? No, it's dope.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of wild to think about. Like, you think about like guys like David Guetta or like Benny Benassi. Like they're getting up there in age, and they're still up there doing it. But I don't know. I feel like some of like you guys, like such as yourself and like other guys like Fashion, Spider, are like the first like in Kevin and all like the original Deckstar guys are like the first real club like rock star DJs. So like I feel like it's almost like that core group is always going to be like sought after in some ways, as long as you're staying relevant and pushing forward. I think that there's a lot that people still want. So, but who knows? I mean, I hope that you're still doing it when you're 60, because that's a good look. I want to still be DJing when I'm 60. I want to be that old guy at the party.
There you go. Old guy at the party.
What was that like DJ Grandpa recently? That was like DJing some college.
Yeah, it was like turned
did
down
you
for
see
what? He jumped on the
Yeah,
on the table. He was going crazy. Or no, it was like bend over. Something crazy.
something like that. Yeah, something.
No, you're gonna be up there. And you get an NFT. You get a crypto. Throw it.
All right. So with that being said, who is your favorite remixer or producer? If you had to pick one, you can mention a few if you can't narrow it down to one.
I gotta say, like the guy, the I guess remixer and original producer right now. I love Dom Dolla stuff. I was trying to mimic some of his stuff a couple months back, but I just love. He did like the Pump the Brakes and like San Francisco Wizard Disco, all that. I just love that chuggy, groovy house sound. So he's probably the person I'm feeling the most at the moment.
Yeah, that's cool. This is a question that everybody always has a hard time answering, and I can't wait to hear what your answer is for this. But it's what's a popular song that you should be playing in your club sets, but it personally makes you cringe and you hate playing it and refuse to play it?
I've always had some weird aversion to playing Taylor Swift songs, even though I'm sure at some venues they probably go off. I've never played a Taylor Swift song ever, and I don't even know why.
Wow.
I've got nothing against the Taylor Swift song, but I don't know what, for some reason I just haven't brought myself to it.
That's perfect answer, and I get it. I get it completely, but I'm a sellout these days. I talk about it every time we ask this, but it's Shania Twain. Man, I feel like a woman, like at my bar gig, like if because my bar gigs it's like kind of like a touristy spot, so like heavy bachelorette party, and like so you play all those like fun cheesy songs there, and every time I have to play that song, a little piece of me dies. All right, so here is another question we always ask that's always kind of funny and dumb. What is the best non-curse word, one word insult?
I don't know. I guess I would usually use a curse word. Like a dingus or a nutnik. I don't know.
Those are great. We have not had that yet. That's a good one.
Yeah, the dinkus. I like that one. That's the one we haven't got yet, so that's good.
And what was the next one? A nutnik?
Nutnik. Look at this fucking nutnik.
We gotta double down. A dinkus or a nutnik?
That's amazing. All right, so we ask this all the time too, and obviously we've had a few LA area guys in, but what's a go-to food spot for you in your area?
Let's see. For me,
it could be a restaurant. It could be a particular type of food. So Fuse in Cincinnati, I don't know if you've had it while you were out there, is the Skyline Chili.
Oh yeah. Obviously, yeah. I've had the Skyline Chili for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So something that you would just have to go to. I mean, it could be like Chick-fil-A for all we care about.
No. Actually, there's a spot. There's a amazing, probably the best burrito I've ever had, and it always. And I found it off of one of those like LA foodie rate, like all the best Mexican spots or burrito spots in LA. It's called Sonora Town in downtown LA. It's phenomenal.
This is another question we like to ask, but what is your one of your most memorable nights ever from in the DJ booth?
One I could think of like right off of hand. There's just so many. It was at Moon nightclub at the top of the Palms, and I believe it was Dana White from UFC was there, and the Like a G6 just came out, and for some reason he loved that song, and he was there with a bunch of ring girls. And like every 5 minutes, a ring girl would come over, and it must have been like $200-300 per time, and I must have played it 20 times. So I had this just stack of money for playing G6 over and over and over. And I even told like the GM, I was like, "I'm so sorry." And he's like, "No, make him happy. He's spending a ton of money." But I made a fortune that night off of just playing Like a G6 over and over and over again.
Wow,
That's unreal.
Wait, I actually have two questions for that. One, do you still play that song? Because I can't even tell you the last time. I remember how big it was, and I couldn't even tell you the last time I played it.
No, I haven't played it in forever. But I mean, at the time, it was like, it was huge. It's kind of like when Sexy Back came out, and like every request was like Sexy Back, Sexy Back, Sexy Back.
Yeah, maybe it needs a Spryte remix, a G6 Spryte remix, pitch down.
There's actually quite a bit, because I always look for like like popular songs and remix into house for the Stay Show. And I mean, if I type in like what G6 right now into my computer, I mean, this must be like at least 35 remixes of this song, even though I don't play any of them.
The other thing I was going to say is I actually went to, it was Unrivaled, got that residency at Moon. I remember going to the grand opening of that, and it was you, Kevin, both you, Kevin played Melody, and Reflex.
Probably Reflex. Yeah, Reflex.
Yeah, Reflex. And who was the other guy that was Unrivaled? The Power 106.
E-Man. E-Man.
E-Man,
yeah. Director of, Power 106.
But I caught all your guys' set. Yeah, me and my wife made a trip out there because I'm like, I'm not missing this. A lot of
great.
You guys were a lot of my favorite guys, so it was like, oh my god, they're all going to be in the same place and like switching off. So that was a must see. Yeah, that was a dope venue. That was a dope spot.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, even the whole Unrivaled thing, that was a great time. We did a whole bunch of like launch parties for that, like all over LA and like Las Vegas. It was great.
Yeah, that was a great lineup, and I remember your opening. One of the first videos you guys did, you were like in the playground or something.
Oh yeah, Reflex, because of Reflex and E-Man working at the radio, they had all these like connections to all these rappers and singers that would come through, and we did a whole thing. We were like working out at a playground in Burbank, right next to Power 106, and then they had this whole story where like Reflex had like Justin Bieber, Common, Will.i.am, and all these people like make guest appearances in this little workout video we made.
Is it still on YouTube?
That too. Yeah, I
don't know if it's on YouTube. I have a copy of it somewhere for sure. I don't know if
I need to see this, dude. That's so tight.
Have you never saw the whole thing?
No, I have. I just don't remember. I need to see it again, I was saying. Because we just went and saw Bieber for my daughter's birthday. We just went last week. He played at crypto.com now, which used to be Staples.
Yeah, Staples.
That was a good show. I mean, I was never a Bieber. I didn't love or hate him, but I actually really would say I've been a little bit more into it lately.
It's still on there. I just found it.
Did you? Nice.
So good. We'll have to include it in the comments.
It's called Introducing the Unrivaled DJs featuring Justin Bieber, Will.i.am, Flow Rider, and Common.
Oh yeah, Flow Rider too. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Wow. Did you get to meet all of them and hang with them? What was that shooting day like though?
A lot of them Reflex. I think a lot of them they got at the channel, like Reflex and E-Man got them at the channel. They just like took them aside and like had them talk about Unrivaled and all that. But no, that was a fun shoot. And I couldn't even believe they got those guys to do that.
So another question is, what if you could tell one piece of advice to young DJ Spryte, what would you tell him?
I guess it would be more of a pay attention more to the marketing side of things. It would be more on that, because I was never great at that. And that was one of my flaws. I would say is I didn't jump on social media as hard as some people did. And even with the marketing, I was just so focused on DJing, because I never really was trying to be a DJ. I was originally a breakdancer. I would travel around. We were on the Apollo. We traveled on the world breakdancing. Hurt my neck, became the DJ for the group, and then just got really into music, started battling, and I never imagined I'd be playing clubs. So I come from that background where it was just about the music and the skill set. So I never, when I first started, it was just about like, I just want to be as good as I can be, but kind of ignored a lot of the marketing things, and especially social media. I was definitely one of those like, what Twitter, Instagram, what is all this? And then obviously, now some people get booked based on their numbers, on who's following them,
Yeah. Are you on TikTok yet?
Yeah, that was my question.
No, I'm not. I'm really bad about that. Made Monster is, but that's just because the label that we work with like kind of forces us to put things on there. So we made this track called Move Your Feet Like This. And they went out and got all these big shuffler influencers to like shuffle to it. So we just like got in our masks and did like the best shuffle we could. We watched like a LMFAO shuffle tutorial online and just learned how to do a basic shuffle. And then just intercut it with all these influencers.
That's amazing. I gotta find the shuffle video now too.
Of all of the guys that could actually pull off TikTok and get crazy numbers, you would be one of them, dude. I think you just need to get a camera and throw it in front of the decks.
I know. I've been really bad about that.
Well, I mean,
in the pandemic, I did like one Instagram live on that Weber iRig or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? At the very beginning, before everyone moved to Twitch, I got the little iRig and did like one stream.
Well, I say it because I watched your jump, the routine you did on Instagram. That would be a perfect thing for your new song. You did
throw that on TikTok too.
Yeah, you throw that on
Really?
TikTok and boom, that could go crazy. That's it.
Yeah, just
honestly,
those
the
same
numbers-
things. Just save the video from there and put it on the TikTok and
On
boom,
TikTok?
done.
Well, you just got to reformat it to where it's the
whatever
story
the
size.
aspect ratio is of
Yeah.
TikTok. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
So I put something on TikTok with 0 followers and nothing, and I think I had 650 views on it, and so it's just the way the algorithm works. So something like yours with your song would be a great promotion, and you actually cutting it and doing it, I just think it'd be huge.
No,
Yeah, you could also do what a lot of guys do that get big on there and fake it. Look, just have your hands up in the air like the whole time where you're like not doing.
No, I'll just make up a routine that recorded and just do it like verbatim the first half and then just stop and let it keep going.
Perfect. It would actually be hilarious. Like I would die. There is a lot of that going on there too, and I'm sure you've seen the Sickick guy who has been getting a lot of DJ heat for faking all of his videos and all that. That's all stemming off TikTok. Yeah,
he's gotten massive just from it. I know the booking, so
he got booked in Cincinnati, and then he got apparently what happened is he got booked in Cincinnati for a gig, and in the first 15 minutes he was having equipment issues, and he walked out of the gig, and the whole place was booing him.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Is it one of those guys that does the drumming and remixing and all that?
Yes, he wears that mask. Yeah. That. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up a quick picture.
But Spryte, you could actually pull it off, so I think it would be dope. I think a lot of people would. I think you would get
I can go get this one.
From it.
1 second.
He's got the custom mask already.
There you go.
Yeah. See?
There we go. Here's the. You can put this guy on.
There you go. The Made Monster mask.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. One of a kind. If I break this, I'm screwed.
This is the Sickick guy here. This dude.
Oh, you know what? I think I have seen him. I don't look at TikTok much, but I think because of the couple DJ things that I've been linked to, it feeds you other DJ things or music things.
That guy's production is pretty sick. He's got some cool, but I mean, he's completely on there faking it, which sucks,
But is he producing the tracks?
Well, we think. I mean, who knows? Maybe he has a ghost producer too.
Oh yeah, you can go on Fiverr now and get anything. I want, make whatever Love Tonight, and somebody will make it for you for $35.
You could basically search Dom Dalla on Fiverr, right, and say, "Hey, make me a Dom Dalla style house track."
Yeah, you could. I mean, people use Fiverr all the time for stuff, just for they'll like I said, I've been trying to research the NFT stuff just because of I think the utility for advertising and music is there. But right now, obviously, it's big with the pictures and all that and the profile pictures, and the way some of these people get on these white lists or just these lists to buy these hot upcoming NFTs is grinding in these Discord servers, and they'll hire people on Fiverr just to sit there all day and grind on them to get them points to earn these whitelist spots. So you can do anything on Fiverr. If you can get anyone to do anything you want. I mean, there's even YouTube videos of guys big producers going on Fiverr having someone remix their track, and some of them are pretty good.
Drew and I have an idea, and we'll tell you. This is the time you want to release the idea, or do you? We'll tell him after we record. We'll tell him after we end the recording, and you can keep this in here because I want to build some hype for what it actually is. So, but we'll tell him after we record what our idea is. But all right, we got one more not so rapid fire. And it's really simple. It's your weirdest crate name in Serato.
Let me see if I can find any weird ones. I got Serato open right next to me. I think what? I think it's funny. I don't even know why I had this. It was so stupid, but I think after was it 6ix9ine? Didn't he get in when he got in trouble for snitching?
Yeah.
I think I had a crate of all of his tracks with him edited out called the No Snitch versions or something like that.
That's pretty funny.
That's so good. I love that.
It was like every track with him, like there was the one with him and like Ty Dolla $ign. It's like Jackie Chan with it, whatever. Like, and it was all without 6ix9ine on them.
I love that.
That's hilarious.
We used to. I remember back when I used to open for you. I used to Pitbull songs because he was like on every single song, and you couldn't. That up-tempo set would be like everything Pitbull. So I was like taking Pitbull out of songs just so you could play that set.
That's happened. I've done that with, I think, with Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, a couple of them when they were so oversaturated and there was so many features. I think even with Drake on some, where it was you realize that even if it wasn't like a Drake song or a Nicki Minaj song, everything featured them, and they would be like the edit would have them up front, and it was like you realize like, oh, I just played like 5 Drake songs or 5 like back to back to back. So I had to go in and like do like minus Drake, minus Cardi edits just for the fact that just put a different verse on, so it's just not this huge blocks of the same artist.
Totally. Drew, you want to do the Serato Top 5?
Yeah, let's hit him with Serato Top 5.
Yeah, so the Serato Top 5 is based on your play count. So you know how Serato has the play count now? And then if you open that tab and then you reverse search it, it'll tell you the 5 songs you've played the most. And you know, some of them could be a little skewed.
Well, knowing that you re-edit every single track, I think Spryte is going to be completely skewed. But
yeah, it's going to be off the wall.
Yeah. So if you,
this is way skewed. Like it's the number 1 that came up. I've never done this. This is
hold on.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, we're gonna hit you with the video. Here we go.
Okay.
The Serato Top 5.
That's awesome. Love it. So this is really skewed. I have no idea how these became. A couple of them, but my number 1 in here with, where is it? 5,023 plays is Ayo by Chris Brown and Tyga. And I never played that. I don't. Maybe I did at one point. Maybe
dude,
like
5,000 is a lot.
5,000 is a lot.
5,023 plays.
I will say lately I've been downloading tracks, and I think DJs, if they do like a custom edit or something, are changing the play count because it'll come higher up if people search that. Because I've gotten a bunch of tracks lately that'll have like 300 plus plays for like a specific song, and I'm going, I never played that song ever, so I know it is skewed, but it does count. So what's Spryte's count? Let's just do Spryte's.
Well, I'll go through like some of these because the top 3 on here, I definitely maybe at one point I played them a lot, but like number 2 is Shame by Evelyn Champagne King, and number 3 is Love Fool by Two Colors. So these are definitely skewed. But then if you go down a little bit more, some of these make more sense, like Bring It Back, Travis Porter, Mi Gente, J Balvin, Broccoli by Dram, Get Low, Little John and the East Side Boys. You know, Next Episode, Dr. Dre. Those make more sense. But yeah, no, the actual,
I feel like Broccoli Dram hasn't been said, and I feel like that's a song that I play all the time too. Like nobody else that's not been in like somebody's list that we've talked to, but I feel like that's one that I play all the time too, for sure.
I got like a little, like a lot of those songs that were like big and people just want those like little sections. I have these like real quick drop edits of them where it's just, so you can just drop it, they could sing along and get right out of it. And another one I have here is, I know why it's on here. It's Alive, Little John. It's a birthday break I made of it. Okay. So I play that every set for a birthday. So that's why that one's on there.
What did you make a whole birthday? You made a whole birthday mashup, right? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I made, it was the Alive birthday. I made like 5 versions of it. The Alive Spryte birthday break. And I made like 4 versions, but that's on there. But I know why. That one I do play every single set. Like where my birthday's at, that gets played.
Do you with the little short drop edits? Are you making stuff where it's like, boom, ain't no like telling, like the end of the chorus?
Yeah, that usually I don't do a lot of the ones that boom in. I know what you're talking about. That one I do start with the acapella. I think I just like cut the like the ain't, and then I just drop it, like just cold drop it. Yeah.
No, that's one thing that I've like been doing in my sets more. I feel like I actually heard Spider talking about this recently on one of his episodes of his podcast, like how you know, like if you're playing a lot of hip hop, you can't just like be playing intro to intro to intro song because it just gets boring. And like, you know, you need to be more creative with the music to like get reactions, you know. And that's definitely one thing that early on I was like, no, you have to mix all your music in, to where like now that I feel like I'm older and more mature and like
Yeah.
comfortable with my DJing, that I'm like, no, it's okay to like scratch and drop songs and like, you know, like play a song from the original intro if it's got like a something recognizable that everybody knows, you know.
Yeah, like
So
Big Sean was at the IDFWU, like that one. If you mix that, not even close to if you just drop it like ding, 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 ding. I mean, it just the room lights up. You got to drop it.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, all of my old classic, like I have like West Coast, it's just all drop stuff. Like it'll be like next episode. Like, I mean, I got some of the, I have a crate here somewhere where it's just all, yeah, no, it's like Gold Digger, Dre Day, next episode, 5 on it, Rough Riders Anthem, Get Out of Your Mind, Gasoline, all drop edits, all just cold drop edits, right back to back to back.
totally. That's awesome. What were you gonna say, Drew?
Going and watching other DJs, just good, bad, doesn't matter. I've learned a lot just watching them, not even mixing with headphones and just cold dropping songs and going, wow, that worked bigger than when I, you know, mixed it or doing that. So I've picked up a ton just from bad DJs and just watching them, you know, out of BPM or out of this or that, just cold drop songs. And I think that works even more than, you know, we all used to use transitions and make a lot of the transitions. And I think sometimes you just cold drop it out of it, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, as long as it's tastefully done. I mean, obviously as a DJ, I can hear like if it's a huge BPM shift. I only use the transition files usually if it's a big BPM shift. I'm trying to get there quick. Like I don't think I would drop like a 100, just go up to 130. It's like bam, it's like hard right turn. But, yeah. But if it's done right, I mean, it could be super effective. I was in the same boat. I'd mix everything and then gradually with the hip hop especially just started dropping more, making my own drop edits. And some of my biggest reactions of the night is like the classic drop edits that I play.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Any honorable mentions?
Let me look. Let me see. It plays again. Anything?
Sexdorf?
So I did a wedding this weekend and we didn't even talk about it, but I did a wedding this weekend. The main song that had to be played by the groom was Soft Cell Sex Dwarf.
Really?
Yeah. And they got out there and they were just so hyped. And it was that goth 80s set just went nuts the whole night.
Nice.
But Sex Dwarf was the one that set it off. DJs, if you don't know, look up Sex Dwarf by Soft Cell because you should not play it at a wedding. That's a
Yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of random stuff in my top plays, but I have no idea why. Like Midas Touch by Midnight Star, What by Captain Sensible. I got Walking into Sunshine, Central Line. Like, I don't even know why those are in my. I mean, these all have thousands of plays on them. I have no idea how. But
who would even put 1,000 plays on Central Line?
I don't know. But apparently it happened. So
yeah,
we've kind of already touched on it a little bit, but if you could give any if you have any advice for when it comes to like programming a night or you know how you program your sets, is there like a simple piece of advice that you could give or a suggestion or a tip that you think would be handy?
I'll add on to it just a little bit. I was talking with a DJ and he had me like kind of listening to his mixes and I was trying to explain, you know, you kind of have to come out swinging out the gate and then you got a little bit more flex. So as a headlining DJ like yourself, how you come out of the gate and how you know, transition out of an opener and then how you also have moments throughout the night. Maybe something you could just let the younger DJs understand how that works.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. You can't come out weak. I mean, especially if you're headlining a lot of these and they haven't seen you before and they don't know you, have rapport with you. You got to come out swinging because a lot of times they're paying you more money to be there. And you just got to kind of make a statement. And then plus you got to kind of gain the crowd's trust a little bit. And then later on in the night, you can kind of get a little bit cooler and a little bit more risky with them. But I always kind of come out hits. And I always recommend, you know, DJs also coming a little bit early and kind of, if you are not doing the whole night and you are kind of jumping on the headliner slot, come a little early, see what's being played, see the vibe. You can kind of see what works. And that will help you set up what you're going to come out the gates with. But whatever you decide to come out the gates with, I would definitely come out pretty hard with, mix a little quicker, make sure they're really big songs, and then you can kind of whittle it down. As far as throughout the night, I guess the best advice would be just to look up, just to like see what the crowd is doing. I've seen so many DJs just kind of either want a set or just not ever look up and just kind of do their own thing. Like you could tell this DJ is really into like trap, but trap isn't working at all if you look up. It's really
we talk
easy
about that all the time.
Yeah, the feeling of a room is just it really is there. Like I can feel when I'm losing them, and it's like a bad feeling. And I want to get rid of it. So like I'm like, how do I get out of this? Where do I go? And then once I kind of figure out the room, like okay, this kind of music will save me. I just kind of cue up those little pods, and I'll go back to that every time I feel that feeling of all right, I'm kind of, it's kind of getting a little rough, and the crowd is kind of getting a little dicey. Let me go back to this and keep bringing them back to where you want them to be.
Something I'm wondering, do you prep some kind of like backup set, right? Where it's like, oh, this isn't working. Let me just hit them with this so I can get my head back on straight. And then does that make sense?
Actually,
like a 1, 2, 3 punch where you get back to it?
Well, like I was talking about with those drop edits, I have a bunch of, and I've spoken on this a couple times in interviews before, is another thing with going back to like, when you're being brought in as a headliner, you kind of have to shine a little bit. So I don't always recommend people, if you haven't been there a bunch of times, I do recommend having a couple little like mini sets and stuff prepped, just some little wow sets throughout the night to jump in and out of. And I usually have about 4 or 5 that I can go to that are very programmed, very like puzzled together, work really well, fast, that I can kind of go to for like a little wow moment. And I'll sometimes if a booker will come into the booth and we're going there for the first time, I'll make sure to cue that up so I know I'm going to get a big reaction or something. I'm doing a little bit more than just, in my laptop the whole time, just searching for the next song. Even though I try to keep it, like you said, I had 180 something songs, fairly condensed, so I'm not just in the laptop trying to figure out what's next. Because I'll see some guys with these crates of 2,000 and they're just going through trying to find the next one. And I don't really want to be doing that. I want to kind of get to where I need to be quick. And if I need a moment, I have a moment prepped.
Yeah. And with some of these openers that I'm sure as much as you travel, you got to run into just where the opener just doesn't get it, right? So how do you work around him? Like what's maybe some insight on how you could navigate a little bit if you have just 200 songs prepped, right? You might have to deep dive into another crate or just maybe any point that you've come across or something that you could advise them.
Yeah, no, if they're going like real hard, which is the case, a lot of times you'll get people that are either, like screw this guy, he's coming into my night, or it'll just be like, oh, I'm trying to impress him, so I want to go hard and get the crowd ready. But either way, they're playing a lot of big songs, which never really bothered me that much. But that's going back to just being there a little bit early and kind of seeing what they're playing. And I could be like, all right, well, I'm just going to stay away from these. If it's a really big song that I know I'm going to need to play at some point, just push it to the back. That's why, you can't really go in too pre-planned. You got to be able to flexible like that. So I'll just go in early, make a mental note of everything and kind of push all that back. I mean, there's plenty of songs, especially with the throwbacks. A lot of the throwbacks are bigger than I get bigger reactions of a lot of the throwback stuff than the current music. So yeah. A lot of times they'll be playing a lot of the bigger stuff. Then I'll just come in with the biggest throwback stuff, get a bunch of reactions off that, and then move later in the night back into the new stuff if I have to play it again. And even if I do play it, a lot of stuff, like I said, is my own edit of it. So it's a little bit different anyway.
One of the things I always tried to do as an opener when guys like yourself were coming in is like, if I was opening, I would always try to like, okay, you're getting ready to go on. I would start playing songs that I knew were like, just like blah songs too. Yeah. So as soon as you switched over, like that first song or whatever you would play would get so much more of a reaction. And I feel like that's something guys could always do to help out if they are opening, is like, okay, you can have the energy up a little bit, but you can bring him back down too, right before, to kind of help the next guy that's going on,
Well, going to that, I kind of like do that on my own because I have this in like the tech tips and stuff. One of the things I do for every show, because I mean, recently with a lot of like upgrade stuff to Serato, I've had more connection issues and stuff like that for some reason, especially with the older Serato boxes. So I have a USB stick with little 14-minute or 10 to 14-minute mini mixes for every genre that's kind of in that blah, but we'll keep them their category. Totally. And I play those regardless, just so I have enough time to feel confident that I can jump on and both decks are working. So regardless of what they're playing, I'll probably let that rock for 10 minutes anyway, where it kind of does exactly what you're saying. So it just kind of gives me that buffer to bring it back down to earth for a little bit, play like Run It, Chris Brown and all that. And apparently AO Chris Brown, or what, I mean, whatever's in my top. So whatever, play that stuff. And,
maybe that's why that song was ranked so high, is because you throw that on.
but yeah, no, I totally recommend on a USB stick. I have little 10 to 14 minute mixes of every BPM genre, whether I'm starting at like 60, 75, 100, 115, 128, recognizable kind of middle of the road, like Post Malone wow type tracks.
Yeah.
And then on that same USB, I have like I have just crash song like if my Serato goes down, because a lot of times I'll have an additional CDJ that I'll just have a USB stick loaded in, and I'll have like a crash mix on there just in case something happens. And all these things have saved my ass in the past, so I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, we're all mutual friends of Kevin. I know he kind of helped you when you moved back locally, kind of get your start.
Big time.
We were me coming up. I opened up for you and Kev and every other DJ that came through Heat at the time, and you two were always my favorite. It was always like I knew I was gonna be like taking notes. Like fuck, damn, you guys were just so good. And I don't know if we were just thinking if you had any like cool throwback Kevin stories or anything, anything like that you wanted to mention.
The one that it's funny, well, Kevin, backstory real quick. He gave me pretty much my entire break into nightclubs in Los Angeles, period. Like, I mean, he was the guy that brought me on at LAX, which was AM's club and like the hardest place to get into. And he like brought me in as his opener there. And then eventually did the Friday night, and that like immediately, this is before all the big Vegas clubs and stuff. So just playing there was immediate, like travel gigs were calling me. And I wasn't even ready for that. I was like, all I had was like my opener stuff transferred into, into Serato that Kevin gave me. I mean, because he had a very specific way that he wanted you to open for him with like the R&B, all this like J-Lo kind of stuff. And, but yeah, no, I've traveled around with Kevin and, a lot of great memories with him, just opening up for him. He really taught me how, like the proper way to open up a night and kind of like bring it into him. And it was so much of my club knowledge and reason why I'm playing clubs is because of him. But I guess one story, I know that White Matic, if you guys are from White Matic, is old school homie
Jerry.
friends with. He always brought it up because one time we always went to the Banana Split Sundays, which is this big party at LAX on Sundays. And if you don't know what it is, it was kind of like the Studio 54 of our time. I mean, you go in there and it would be Daft Punk hanging out, Mastercraft. I mean, Steve Aoki would be playing. It was just crazy, and it'd be like all the Paris Hiltons and everyone would be in there. And one time after a show, they had like a poker game. They always do a poker game, and it was all like AM, Homicide, Aoki, all these big guys, and they made me DJ it. And White Matter was like, I don't know how you played that set. I was like, oh, I just played it. But no, he was like, I would have been so nervous, and I probably was, but I think I was super excited to showcase all my like edits to those guys. Like I was like trying to get them to play them, so I was playing all my own edits, and they would come over like, what is that? What is that? Like I need that. So it was great, actually.
That's a killer
awesome.
Story. I never heard that. And that's like very Bloghouse era where we were all just digging on the right.
It's exactly what it was. It was all Bloghouse. It's exactly what it was.
Yeah, you're just digging on the random blogs that would just post up this random track, and it was cool. I only made it there one time. It was a good party.
I never got to go, but Drew took me outside of the club when I was there last. He was like, "This was where AM's club was," and I was like, "Oh,
yeah, there you go." Yeah.
So I was there, just too late. All right, so we're gonna hit you with the travel hacks video, and then you can tell us some of your travel tips. So here we go.
I wanna fly away.
Travel hacks.
Nice.
Get better as it goes. We know you're a travel guy, so you have to have some tips for us.
I was trying to think about this. I don't have anything too golden. I mean, TSA pre for sure. If you're traveling a lot, if you don't know what TSA pre is, or you need to look into that and get that. That's been huge. I mean, I would have missed so many flights if I hadn't had TSA pre. That's a big one. Always have some kind of tip money, because if you're traveling a lot of times, you're going to have drivers. And there's been so many times where like they've driven me like an hour from, Salt Lake up to Park City, and like you just have no cash for the driver. So cash is always a big thing. The scene hack with the note on the hotel room door, that actually does work where they try to get you out of there. But if you just put a note, they'll just skip right over and they won't keep on hounding you housekeeping to get you out at 11. So you
you got to give them all the whole rundown of that, because I don't think we've ever talked about that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a lot of times at these hotels, they're trying to push you out at 11 so they can flip the room and get somebody else in there. A lot of times it's on the housekeeping staff to do that. So they'll be just knocking, like, if you just put like a note on the door that says checking out at like 1, checking out at 2, they usually will just leave you alone at that time, and you just walk out, leave, and nothing. You won't get charged. I mean, at least I've never been charged for like an extra half day or anything. I just put it on there, they leave me alone, and I'll leave for my later flight without having to say anything to the front desk.
Wow.
I've done it before. It's definitely worked for me too.
Yeah, no, it's Scene was the one that would always say that. I was like, I'm going to try this, and it actually did work. But other than that, just for travel tips, just be prepared. Adapters, different types of headphones, iPad. Definitely need an iPad. But yeah, that's pretty much it for travel tips.
Any preferred airline?
At the moment, it's just been Southwest, because so much of my stuff I've been trying to, as I've gotten older, just keep it more West Coast, because the clubs a lot of them feel the same to me. So I'd rather do one, somewhere within like an hour to 2 hour flight as opposed to 5 to 6, so Southwest has been really good with that. Plus they still have like the companion pass. Since I fly enough, I get the companion pass every year, which means I can pick one person, and if they fly with me, they're always free. No questions asked, no matter where I go. Wow. So it's a great perk. Plus, using the one airline, I never have to buy the initial flight anyway, because I have enough points for me, and then my companion is free. So for 2 people, I'm never paying airfare as long as it's on Southwest.
I've been trying to fly one airline too when I do fly, and it's mostly Delta for me.
Well, they're hubbed out of Cincinnati, right? Delta?
Yeah.
That's their hub?
Yeah. So that's when I try, when I can. Every once in a while, like when we went to Atlantic City last year, I had to fly American, which sucked, but but it is what it is. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I had some other tip type stuff. I guess it would fall into the other category, the one we just talked about like more travel tips is for like DJ stuff, and that was like the USB drives with the emergency mixes, transition mixes, bringing extra cables. That's been a huge one for me, like extra RCAs and USB cables, because I've had so many. I've actually had like 2 already this year, USBs that were bad cables, and I've had to switch out for my own. And then RCAs are always great to have. Always, for some reason, there's always like a faulty one, or they're missing one. What else do they have here? I have a setup cheat sheet on my computer before I play. So if you're having some problems, you tend to, when you're in the moment, like brain fog a little bit. So I have a cheat sheet that has like the different like airs with the Serato circles, quick keyboard shortcuts for resetting PRAM, SRAM, all that stuff, whatever. So I don't have to like think about it, flipping, inverting the colors, because in the moment you might be like, something goes wrong. You might be like, you might go foggy and not even remember that. So I have a little cheat sheet, a Word document that I always have up behind my Serato that I can quickly flip to and kind of get whatever information I need.
That's a good idea.
That's a great
tip. Like right away, because I don't remember all the Serato wave, the circle forms and all that. I can just look at it immediately, like, oh, it's the ground. Oh, if I'm using turntables, or it's the RCA, and then usually fix stuff relatively quickly without having to like panic around. Sanitizer. A lot of people think I always have hand sanitizer on me because I'm worried about germs. As far as DJing goes, so many times where you have a drink, someone bumps into you, it spills on you, you have vodka cranberry on your hands, you're using turntables, doesn't work well with needles. Or even you get there, and I've been where the whole mixer and everything, someone else spilled a drink on it and it's super sticky. So I'll just get a napkin with some sanitizer and just go around the mixer. And it's been like the greatest tool for like taking stickiness off of whatever. So sanitizer.
Great tip. I like that.
So,
and the PRAM and the SRAM, you mentioned that. I've had a couple people mention that to me. I haven't had to do it, but what are some of the advantages of that? What's the idea behind that?
I couldn't explain to you exactly what PRAM and SRAM is, but I know just sometimes when things have worked quirky, because I do so much on my laptop for my other projects, jumping between like Ableton video projects, graphics projects, music. sometimes your computer will just be slow and working weird, and a restart just doesn't cut it anymore. So flashing the PRAM and the SRAM, I don't know, it just resets some stuff, and it's definitely worked in cases, but I couldn't tell you exactly what they are and why it's working. It's just one of those things where I'd rather throw everything at it, and hopefully one of them sticks. So
I've heard it's good for maybe like if a USB isn't connecting, right, or something's wrong.
Any kind of problem you're having like that. Where like something's going weird from like pulling USBs, and just sometimes your computer will get funky with doing that, especially Serato. I'll just restart, hold the keys for flashing the PRAM, and it usually clears it right up.
Great tip.
All right. Yeah, those are all good ones. I like the cheat sheet. I might have to start doing that too.
Yeah, I got like, if I bring this up, like some of the stuff I have on it, I have all the Serato Airs. They just printed on there as all of them. So it's a quick graphical thing. I even on this cheat sheet, I did research into like where you should place your USB on your computer. Like, so I just been following it. I don't know if any of this works, but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Wait, what is that? Because at one point it was like a certain drive, right? It had to be the one closer to the port or something like that.
Yeah, one of them was like a powered. Yeah.
So I have power on left, Serato, and when I was using the controller, because I used to use a breakout controller, but a lot of spots have an S9. Now, when it was the 800, 900, I had this little tractor F1. We had the pads and so I would put the left would be the power, and on the right side I would have the Serato box and the controller. And then I also have like all the turnoffs. So because I had one of the first touchscreen Macs, so it was all these preferences that mess with Serato. So I have like everything, like what needs to be turned off. I have in here like if you ever been at a club and you connected your Serato and you didn't have the hardware, and it makes you do that hardware update. You have to like download the driver, but then like your system blocks it because you don't have permission. So like just same thing for the brain fog. I have in there like where to go, how to turn it off real quick, or how to approve it. Just so all this stuff, like just what I need in any situation, like to quickly get it done. So I'm not sitting there with a full crowd trying to like update my computer or figure out what's wrong.
That's super smart, man.
So while I'm running those mixes I talked about, like I'm just going through this sheet. Like, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Is it these cables? I have new cables, whatever.
And that's even sending your writer. They're still fucking it up somehow, right?
I think with my level, I'm just still just a normal DJ to most places. I'm not getting paid the big bucks. I'm not filling rooms based on my name, but I think half the time they don't even pay attention. It's just whatever they have is what they have. I'm good on whatever. Like, for the longest time I was like I don't want to use CDJs. I hate them because I like to like throw in some scratching, and like I was just so comfortable with turntables from using them forever. But now it doesn't matter. I'll use the CDJs, 800, 900, S9, S11 turntables, the Pioneer turntables, whatever.
And when did you finally? Was it part of doing the Made Monster stuff that made it okay for the CDJs, or
actually it was?
You were doing, was it?
It was from the Made Monster stuff because we had it on the writer. We had two full setups because we didn't like fake it. We did two full setups over each other, and I was doing the turntables, and we got on this Night Nation run tour. So we did them like all these cities and these big festivals, and they were just putting us on these risers on like high school lunchroom tables, and the bass was all under the stage. So I had to make my controller program the internal, the relative internal on the, so I could really quickly like scratch something internal, relative, scratch something. It got terrible. So I was like, you know what, let's just do CDJs. Finally got one here. It's right here behind me. I only have one. Got it from Super Seed. He got me like a deal on it because he was working at Pioneer at the time. And then I just started practicing like my cuts on it and got used to it enough. And now I'm not as good as I am with the turntables, but I'm close enough. Plus, now I probably don't do as much tricky stuff anymore anyway. Like when I first started traveling, I was all about like all this flair, but most of the time the crowd doesn't care anymore. So
that's still part of your signature though. So I like that you still have some of it in it. And the CDJs are, I know they're not close to what the turntable is, but they're up there.
The 3000s are a lot closer though. The
really?
3000s are nice.
This is a 2000 Nexus. I can't justify spending that just to have a different feeling, I guess. But
if you go to a club that has 3000s, you'll be like, whoa.
I don't think I've been on those yet. They still mostly rocking the Nexus 2s, I think. It's the 2000 Nexus 2. But a lot of clubs are getting the S9, which I love. I love that. Or the S11. I just had a club in San Jose have the S11.
Are you using phase?
No, I have not used phase yet, which probably I should look into because I've been having a lot of problems with the vinyl side of things. This, where some of the bigger gigs I actually have asked for CDJs just because I tend to have almost like very few problems on the CDJs other than my cutting isn't as good.
I use phase on my Saturday night, and because I'm on, it's a bigger room and the bass is pretty heavy, and we're on turntables there still, and I don't have any problems with them.
Really?
You know, I was having a problem at the beginning, and then I found out I was just doing something wrong.
Really?
So yeah, it was just user error. So, but they've been great since. I know there's a lot of guys that are, you know, that have had their issues with them, but I haven't personally. I use them every Saturday. So I will say my advice would be, if you buy them, buy the 4 pucks instead of just the 2. So just because, you know, you never know when you forget to charge, or you know, you're gonna need 2, or if you get somewhere, you know, it's I would wish I would have just got the 4 instead of the 2.
Really? Yeah.
Once I get them working, I have no issues. It's more of getting them working because I don't use
Really?
them enough on different systems. So when I get to the system, it's like running through. I mean, basically, I need the phase cheat sheet so I can pull it up and just go, "Oh, that's what it is." Fuck, you know.
Yeah.
But now that they have that it's integrated into Serato DJ, all you have to do is you just plug the USB from the phase into your computer, and then the pucks sit on and that's it. You don't have to like do anything with the RCAs if you don't want to. You don't have to use them at all with the phase anymore. Makes it pretty simple. All right. Do you want to? We'll do this new tech. If there's anything you want to talk about, if not, we don't have to do it.
I mean, as far as like tech wise, I mean, I haven't really. I mean, I'm super like whatever. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like I won't even update my computer after I get it working, like at all. But I mean, I guess I would ask Drew, have you obviously seen that Pioneer controller with them turning and all that? Have you messed with that?
We both.
Yeah, we were at the mobile beat, or what was it called? Mobile
Next.
Entertainment Expo.
Yeah.
Here in Vegas, and they had it out on display. Ragoza was there, and he's like a scratch guy. He said it's a little slow for him, but
Yeah.
I thought it was I liked it a lot. It's about to come in, and all the videos that I've watched about it, it's just shown if you switch out the slip mat, it's been fairly responsive. But
yeah, that's the one thing, is that guys have said that they've like makeshift slip mats that they stuck under the thing that made it feel a little better. But it was pretty cool. I thought personally, I was like, wow, this is pretty impressive
for a controller with a S9 right in the middle, and I mean, that's the whole thing for me. It was amazing.
Yeah, I was like looking at that. I was like, wow, if I ever did like a mobile gig, I mean, this thing seems like it'd be like as close as you can get without having to lug, CDJs and S9s everywhere.
I was super anti buying a controller for forever, and then I broke down and bought one of the SRT 1000s when those came out, and now I'm so like, anytime I do anything where I got to bring something, I just bring that. And I'm like, it's so easy. It's just so easy to where it's like, I was wanting, so Drew pre-ordered without touching it. I was wanting to touch it before I pre-ordered.
Well, I knew it'd resell, and with the shortages, I knew I could sell it. For if it was terrible, I knew I could sell it.
Yeah,
the demand for it's bonkers. You know what I mean? So it was going to be up there, so I just ordered it. Actually, okay. So I know you just said you don't have a lot of stuff about that, but that being said, you edit videos for all these TV shows and commercials and all this stuff. Just wondering if you have any maybe any tech on that side, or what computer are you using that? Do you use just have you touched the new MacBooks with a monitor, or how are you editing with that maybe?
Oh, well, I mean, some of the stuff I do like in-house at the companies, which are on these like large servers running Avid Media Composer and DaVinci Resolve. At home, I'm doing a lot of stuff with Premiere, just the Adobe suite pretty much. Yeah. But I'm just using I got the last version before, when they first gave they gave the option for the M1, and then they had the old. I stuck with the old because I have so many plugins for like Ableton stuff that's so finicky with those updates. Yeah. So I decided to stick with this for now, and then next time around I'll get the M1. But I always just every couple of years will just get whatever the best MacBook is. I'll like load that all the way up, and that's what I'll use, and I'll just ride that until it starts getting squirrely, or 2 years like a new one.
I'm using the Drew and I are using 13-inch M1s, and dude, the M1s it's crazy.
That's what they can do.
In Ableton, even without it having it, I just updated to 11, and 11 now actually works with the M1. But before, I didn't notice much of any issues with it. It was maybe a little bit slower than it is now, but I didn't really notice any major issues with it.
See, my thing was always with plugins, like, because all those little plugins that are individual programs, I have so many that I bought and use every day. And even like the littlest update to anything, all of a sudden, like half of them won't work. And I'm like contacting the company, like, what can I do? What can I do? And going through like, frequently asked questions and, support forums, trying to figure out how to get it to work again.
No, I can see that for sure. No, that's it with new tech. We're always curious. We both bought the 360 camera and other stuff like that. So
I have when I used to do like little like road, I used to do like a little like road vlog. I had one of those DJI, those little motion things. Got one of those.
We both have these that we've been vlogging with, these Sony ZV-1s.
So nice.
This has been very handy. It's so little. And then we did this little hack where we put this lens on them. It's just a wider screen lens. It just kind of sticks on. And I mean, for traveling, like, it's just a point and shoot, but it shoots 4K, and it has the auto stabilization and the auto ISO and like all the stuff. And for guys like me, and I know Drew too, that aren't really like super big, on the film side, like, this is great because we just point and shoot the video and talk to the camera, and it's been super handy. We have a couple vlogs that we've posted on the YouTube channel that we've done with just footage from this, and that's been great.
Like a motion stabilization like that?
Yeah.
No, well, it's got in it. It has in the software of the camera, it has like a auto stabilization. I literally just put it on one of these right here, and I kind of just talk to it, and then like in the club just give it some of that, and that's pretty much it. So you could definitely do some more with like a better gimbal or something like that, but for what we're doing, I feel like for quick vlogs, like weekend vlogs of like your gigs and stuff, like, it's been great. And then
I remember watching yours, Spryte. Yours were always really good. You're saying it was like that. It was the little baby DJI one. Is that what
it was? My phone on the little baby DJI gimbal. Yeah, that's like $100. Oh, that's all it was. Like, but I've always been interested in like doing more vlog stuff. But I was like, I always see these people with these like awesome little stabilization rigs and gimbals with like lights and microphones, and I'm like, oh man, I would like to have that, but I'm sure it's super expensive.
You should check this out then. I think this would be a good option, this Sony ZV-1. It's like
$630.
Yeah, it's like $600 or something. And it shoots in 4K, so
nice. Cool. I'll have to check it out for sure.
But I think that might be it. Drew, do you have anything else?
If you're okay with it, we were gonna say if you want to throw down a 60-second rant.
Oh yeah, we could do that. Yeah, if there is,
just about anything.
You could rant about how you hate McDonald's breakfast sandwiches, or anything you want for 60 seconds. But here's the thing. Well, I'll put 60-second timer up, and
shout, let it all out.
Nice. I like it.
All right, here we go. We're going to put 60 seconds. All right. And you can start now.
All right. DJ, it's a job. It's a fun job, but it's still a job. So for all the new DJs out there, I recommend, get there early, get to know who's hiring you, get to know the people you're playing with, the bar staff, just etiquette about, about how you present yourself. Don't be an asshole about things. Don't come in and expect the world because you're headlining. Make sure you show up on time, early, and just have fun. We could drink, we can socialize, but it's still a job. And if you want to get rehired, you still have to treat it as a job in some sort. So make sure you treat it as a job, because that's what it is as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's something we haven't really touched on in general. Like, it's just DJs being responsible. Like, like if you're a drinker, that's fine. I'm a drinker. You're a drinker. We all have had plenty of drinks, and we've all probably had a gig or two where we've had too much to drink. But for the most part, I think all three of us are sitting here because we do all those things. We treat everything super professional and, all that. So that's a good thing a point to bring up.
Yeah, I would see, like, when I would resident at spots like Rain in Vegas, and I would just open for all these people, you would see like the different gamut of like how some DJs and artists would treat it. Like, some would be totally, we're going to come in early, have dinner with everyone, the booker, the opener, who's me, and just get to know everybody, be real respectful and play. And then you'd have the other people that would show up at 1:30 for their 1 a.m. set, and like be a dick, get out of the booth. This is my crew in here now. Get out of here. Like, just being real disrespectful, get completely hammered, mean to like the bar staff. And it's just like, what are you doing? Like, and you're never going to come back. It doesn't matter, how good you are. So it's just like, it's still a job. It's a very fun job, and I'm thankful every day I can do it and make money at it. But it still is a job, and you got to treat it with some respect in that manner.
Totally.
That's right. Yeah. And you always came through. I remember when I opened for you, you always came through, and you were early and super respectful. And, I'd try and grab you a beer as much as I could, and just, and you would always rock the shit out of that spot. And that's why we had you back.
Well,
so
here's another tip. Speaking of that, here's another tip for people is when you're trying to get in with these spots, or you get your first opportunity at a travel gig or to play somewhere different, is definitely go in there and be friendly and meet, especially like the music director or the opening DJ, who a lot of times is the music director or the person that directly influences who's booked at these nightclubs. So just being friendly with them has gotten me so many more gigs, just because just being nice, coming and hanging out, watching their set, and just becoming friends with those opening DJs who are in the ears of the bookers or the club owners who might not know. And I've gotten a lot of bookings off of just making friends with the openers or the resident DJs at the venues. A lot of times they have a lot more power than you might realize with getting you booked there or booked back.
It's a fact, because I know I would always be like, dude, you got to book Spryte again. I would always tell the owner, like, bro, he's the best one that we get, you and Kevin, that was always the ones I was like, him and Kev, like, you guys were the most consistent. That's what I would say. It's not that other people didn't come through and crush it. You guys were just always really consistent, and the night would carry all the way through till the end, Some people would come out strong, and then it just kind of tail off a little bit. And again, everyone has their nights, but 9 times out of 10, you guys were like the most consistent.
I agree too. Yeah. I always appreciate that. I felt like you and Kevin both like prepped, like I always felt like every time that you guys came, like there was more to it. Like, you cared, like, you know what I mean? Like, you cared about being a good DJ, but you cared about it being a good night and like it being fun and everybody having a good time and prepping the set and playing different stuff. So that was always cool. And I appreciated that always.
Yeah, you got to do some prep. Like I said, they're paying a premium to have you in there, and a lot of the residents are amazing DJs that might just not have the same opportunities to travel. I've been to so many places, and I've come in early and watched the resident open for me. I'm like, this person is amazing. They're really, really good at DJing. So it's like, I'd hate to like come in here and just be like, I don't care. I'm just going to open up a bin and just throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Like, no, you got to put a little effort in. They're paying extra for you.
And a little bit of it, you're kind of got to impress them just a little bit, right?
Well, I've always been very conscious of like, I really do want to do a good job, and like have people be like, oh yeah, no, he did great. He did these things. So, I mean, I'm definitely very conscious of trying to do that, or trying to like have a little bit of that. Like, oh yeah, I want to make sure that they think I'm good, or so they would have me back.
100%, man. Is there anything you want to talk about? Just throw out for anybody to look you up, or social media wise, or anything like that? TikTok's coming soon.
TikTok's coming soon. Other than that, just at DJ SPRYTE. I have a brand new single out called Jumpin', featuring JDP, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever music sold. Every Friday on Pipple's Globalization Channel 13. I have Stay Radio, which we talked about. All the best in dance and club music from the week. I try to put that out there, keep it fresh every week. That's at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern every Friday. So other than that, just look me up, DJ Spryte. All right.
Spryte, thank you for coming on the show today. We really appreciate having you and you taking the time to be with us here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate you guys having me on. You guys are both amazing DJs, and it was, my pleasure, my honor to sit and talk with you guys.
Oh, thank you. That's gonna wrap it up for today, and we'll see you guys later.
Perfect.
Peace.